You are listening to the People Centric podcast, where we talk through the toughest challenges that people face at work and give practical advice to fixing those challenges. Thanks for joining our movement to create workplaces that are happier, healthier, aligned, and empowered by putting people at the center of all that we do.
Hey, People Centric leaders, it's Stephanie Anderson, and welcome back to the People Centric podcast. I am joined today by the wonderful Diana Royalty and Philip Herzog. So thanks to you both for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us, Stephanie.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back. And
Yeah, well, after that very formal introduction, here's our topic for today. So our team hears a lot, right? As you might expect for business consultants, we get to interact with lots of different leadership styles, lots of different people and communication styles all across the country. And throughout all of our listening and interactions, we have come up with a little bit of a list in each of our minds of things people say that we like and things they say we don't like. And those are things specifically in relation to leadership. So sometimes we're out in the world and we're with our clients or we're at conferences and we'll hear people say things that are like, man, that's great. I wish more people were saying that and doing those things. And then we hear things that we don't like that someone will say, and we're like, oh, I wish that is not what had just been said in the room. Or I think you intended that to be motivational, and it was really demotivational, and you just sucked all of the air out of the room. So we are going to tell you what's on our lists in this episode of what are some of the great things we hear people say, and why do we think they're great? And then what are some of the kind of crummy things we'll hear people say? And often I think they are saying them with good intentions, or they are repeating things that they've heard other people say, or they read it in a book somewhere, but it lands really badly. So we're gonna open up our books today and share with you what we think.
When you introduced this topic, I thought about like LinkedIn people who are constantly posting like inspirational leadership stuff. And I'm like, I have so many people that I have seen the quotes that come out of these people. And I'm like, do you really believe that? Or are you really doing that? I know you and I know your leadership style, and that is not how you do it.
Yeah. It becomes like the social media equivalent of the like motivational posters and the little kitten on the branch is like, hang in there, you know? I will agree. LinkedIn is where you see a lot of offenders in the areas of like bad leadership quotes and phrases. So yeah. Who wants to kick us off with one? And it could be a great one or one we wish you would stop saying, please.
well, in light of how we even got onto this topic, yesterday I was with a group at the chamber. I will name this person because he publicly says this all the time. Bob Helm is this great accountant, this great leader, highly respected in our community, and chair of our chamber board. So for this meeting with, young professionals and chamber board members, he starts this off and he says, all right, everyone, it's time to now for all of us in our small groups to cuss and discuss. And I love that he said that because it's funny. And if you really take that idea out a little bit, Bob is not saying to cuss out your people, but it does make me think if we're having conversations that are like make us get worked up enough that we cuss a little bit, or at least want to cuss a little bit, whatever your stance is on cussing in the workplace. I like that because it's not saying let's just have a perfect white picket fence conversation. So let's get a little fired up. Let's think what we can do here. We can disagree and also discuss. So I love his cuss and discuss kickoff. And I think with the right group, that's a really great way to kick off a meeting. Maybe not this one, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we can get out the swear jar if you need to kick us off, and we just go there, Philip.
I like that too. I have not heard Bob say that, that must be new in his repertoire. But no, I like that too. I think you're right. It does open up people to be vulnerable. Like you can be mad about a situation, you can be frustrated about a situation, you can hate what you're going through, you can hate what others are going through, and then you still have to discuss it. Like you can feel the feelings. I think is kind of what Bob was saying. Like feel
Exactly.
your feelings and then unpack it and talk about
Acknowledge the real things and
it.
then jump in. And of course everyone laughs. And so we circled back and our group did have one person who cussed. I don't like to cuss in front of a lot of people. So I had her when we were sharing out, I said, we did our assignment. We did cuss and discuss. And I had Bridget share her cuss part for herself, right? That's we outsourced, we delegated that part of the assignment. Stephanie, you had a great one too that you kicked us off with.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when we were talking about this topic, I had a leader just say this to me yesterday. We were just talking about her team and things that were going on and how she's trying to develop people in her organization. And she said, I tell my team this all the time. If you're a leader and no one's following you, you're just taking a walk. And at first it made me chuckle because I'm like, oh, that's funny, right? Like that's a good one. But this is actually one I like. And I think it catches your ear because it's kind of funny. But then when you sit with it for a moment, it's very true. Like leadership isn't all about following, right? Like it's not the point of leadership is just to get people to follow you, but a great leader should like get people to follow them. They should inspire others to action, to change, to some of those things. It made me think, and I looked it up of like, the John Maxwell quote is like, the pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, the leader adjusts the sails. So a leader should be inspiring people and helping them see a different way, getting people to go behind them. So yeah, if you're a leader that no one will follow, you just have to admit, like maybe you're just taking a walk. And you're just going somewhere. And it's not always that maybe you're walking in the wrong way, but you're not leading then at that point.
I love the mental image that this conjures as well of just like as a leader, sometimes you do need to look back and be like, are they coming with me? Oh no, I need to go back to them, right? I got to meet them where they
Right.
are to bring them back to me. And I just love the like mental imagery with that one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It painted such a good picture. So there's a good one for you to think of.
I have one that was reintroduced to me yesterday. I've heard it many times, but every time I hear it, it resonates with me personally. So I'll just say it and then I'll explain why it resonates with me. And hopefully it will also resonate with others. But it's an African proverb and it goes, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. And I'm one of those people that I'm like, I could do that so much faster if I just did it myself, right? I could just do it myself and it would be done. And then I don't have to like collaborate. And so I love it. I love every time I hear that, it makes me pause and I'm like, man, it's true. We do better when we do it together, but it is so much slower and it is more frustrating for me. But it always, that proverb always brings me back and I'm always reminded of like, okay, yes, I can go quickly alone, but I can go farther together. And the end goal for me is to always go farther, right? I want to go better. I want to do it farther. I want to do it more completely. And I don't know, I'm just one of those people that are constantly mad at the pace. No matter how fast it goes, I'm like, it wasn't fast enough. So that one resonates with me as a leader of like, just slow down. It's okay. You're going to get farther if you go together.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to throw out one I hear people say that I don't like. And this one, I think it's said a lot, and I think it gets said with really, really good intentions. I will say this, that no one is intending anything negative from it, but it's one that we see when it's actually put into practice does not help teams and does not help organizations. And when it's when we're talking with the leader about their team and how they lead, and they just say, I just hire great people and just get out of their way and let them do their job. And it sounds so nice, right? And I've heard leaders say this, I mean, one-on-one to their teams from the stage in conferences. It sounds great, right? And especially if you are a high performer, Like at work, you're thinking, awesome, yes, hire me to do it, set me free, do those things. But because we come alongside organizations and work with them a lot of times what that looks like is honestly a leader who is not present. It is a team that gets very little support or direction. It's people really working hard to accomplish things and not being sure if all of their effort really is taking the organization in the right direction. It can sometimes mean teams that are really misaligned because what my definition of success is could be really different from what your definition of success is. And it's one that, again, it's meant to be really empowering, I think, to like high performers and really talented people. And it ends up, I think, actually being really disengaging because then these people don't get any development and they don't get leader time and they don't get connected to the strategies or the mission of the organization. But I'd be curious because that's one that I feel like I hear very, very often of what Diana and Philip, you two think of that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it is said with good intent and it's said with like I trust my people, I trust them to do good work. And I think every leader should have people like that they trust and are going to do good work. I think that for me when I hear it, I take a step back and I'm like, but are you telling them that they're doing the right things? Are you giving them good expectations? Like, sure, I want you to get out of their way, but I also want you to make sure that you're still very aligned. And I think the leaders that get out of the way and then are hands off, they cause their teams to become misaligned because there's not that constant communication on what the expectation is and where we're going and what we're driving towards. So yeah, I think that's a cautionary comment when I hear it. My red flag detector goes up and I'm like,
I
oh, tell me
agree.
more about that.
Yes,
I
yeah,
like
I
the
think the same
mental
thing. It's like when somebody says it, I'm like, tell me what you mean. What are you doing actually?
I do like the mental image of Diana's in her brain, like pulling out giant rolls of caution tape and like rolling it around all the quotes and ideas that come in when someone says that, which I think a lot of us on our team do that. Steph, I like that you asked the question because it also, in a way, it builds a weird sense that leadership is extraneous or leadership is bad. Like, I'm a great leader. I just hire great people and get out of their way. I don't I don't think that's great leadership, really. I understand the intent is to not micromanage, right? If you're looking at the positive, it's not to be so involved that you become a dictator or a micromanager or a parental figure. No one likes a leader that's quite like that. But to say, like, I just get out of their way, you're like, well, then what are you? It doesn't say what a leader does. And maybe that's what's wrong with that statement. Like, a great leader does something. I think I was thinking the opposite side of that or similar side of the coin, the phrase open door, right? I think the same person that's like, hey, the next statement they usually say, I just try to get out of my team's way. And then to your point, Steph, we're like, oh, we're misaligned here. Don't worry. What's my solution? I have an open door policy. Come to me anytime. And what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, come to me when you have a problem, I guess. Do you come to me and build alignment? I don't know. My door's open though. Hey, finger guns, we're okay. I think that's a phrase that just blows my mind because leaders say that with the best of intentions, saying, reach out. Really, my role is here to support you, but there's not a great example of what that looks like. And when you're a team member who open doors it while your boss is busy and focused on something else and it's unexpected, which is the open door model, they're not in the frame of mind to help you with your question. And you're annoyed that someone interrupted you as the leader. So the open door policy, if it's truly what you're operating out of, doesn't work well. But creating a cadence for space for an intentional check-in, that's good. I just think the phrase open door tends to mislead what that actually looks like.
Yeah, when I see open door, it usually means either everyone is using it and it's total chaos, and your door is like the principal's office and it's not helping anyone, or no one is using it because you've said it's an open door, but there's no clarity in that. So then no one uses it. So yeah, I haven't seen an open door policy that works the way that I think most people intend for it to work. Yeah, I agree, Philip.
Yeah, I totally agree. Here's another one that I don't always like when I hear when a leader, is going to rally their team and we're going to do this, and they say something like, the only thing holding you back is you, or the only limit is your belief in this, or is your this or that, right? And the leader is basically trying to like rally their team towards doing something. And I always, wonder in that moment, like anytime I'll hear a leader say that, or like essentially it's this idea of like, if you just all believed a little, if you believed more, or if you just tried a little harder, we could do it. So don't be the thing that holds you back. And I just think that's a really unfair statement. Just to be honest. I'm like, yeah, Diana, you were going to say something.
You just like conjured anger in me that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Just like it's something and you triggered a response from me. I had a sales manager back when I sold jewelry at the mall who, he was very pushy, right? He was a sales manager. He pushed you to do your job. And one night I had called in and said like, you had to record your numbers every night. And I said like, oh, I didn't sell anything tonight, right? And he lost it and was like, you didn't try hard enough. You didn't go after it hard enough. You didn't believe in yourself hard enough. Like all of these things. And I was like, well, actually, there was a fire alarm pulled at the mall and no one was in the mall for about 3 hours. And my shift was like 4 hours. So like it was after class or whatever. And he was like, well, you still could have networked with the people that were standing in that fire alarm drill. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Like, and I was so mad that he instantly went to Diana isn't trying enough. She isn't working hard enough. She doesn't believe this hard enough. And, it was an after college job. I honestly probably wasn't believing it hard enough, but he could have asked a better question of like, well, what happened tonight? Did you not have the foot traffic?
Right.
Did you not do any cold calls? Did you work the process? Like what happened tonight? But he didn't ask that. He just said, you didn't believe in yourself enough, right? Like you didn't want it bad enough.
And I think, if I hear leaders saying stuff like that to their team, something else that a leader I know says often is he'll always say, if somebody can talk you into it, somebody else can talk you out of it. And that's kind of what comes to mind for me because it's true. So if you're a leader and you're finding that that's how you're trying to get your people to do something, number one, I would say you're probably not being realistic or fair. Like to your story, that was a great, great story, Diana, to show like he didn't think about the fact that like you could have tried hard and talked to every single person that walked near you. But if you physically can't be at the store, then it had nothing to do with your passion or your belief in what you all were doing. There's just simply put, sometimes like real barriers to accomplishing goals that honestly sometimes leaders don't want to admit because they can't solve them either. And so to me, when I hear a leader say that, it shows a lot of ego from that leader, like maybe a lack of humility, like I'm not willing to admit that there's anything standing in the way, or why are you trying so hard to convince everyone on your team to do this? And if you're having to do it that hard, that's why I said, if you're trying to talk to them into it, somebody else can probably talk them out of it. And I hope you don't have those toxic people on your team. But I would just like use that as a caution. If you find yourself wanting to say to people, just believe in it more, or just try harder. The only limit you have is yourself and how hard you're willing to work and how hard you're willing to try. Like that's not really true. It's not really true. And I think it's really demotivational to a lot of people to hear that. To me, that would check, I'll jokingly say like I have like a cult leader, evil dictator bingo card. It kind of checks off one of those of like the cult leader card. If you're just telling people, just believe, just keep going. And here's the thing, I hear that. And I know some of you just heard Ted Lasso in your head, believe. That's not what we're talking about. Because they put in a lot of hard work and they did the practices and they had a strategy and a plan. So this is not insecurity. It's just like you can't motivate people just to blindly go along with something. Or when you're saying like, let's just go through, and they're like, but there's this mountain in front of us. We can't just go through some of these things.
And it was demotivating. That's a really good word for it, because I think had he asked me a question like, what happened tonight? And then he said, if that happens again, you should talk to the people around you, see if they're interested in buying some jewelry anytime soon, make some new connections. And I probably been like, okay, yeah, I can do that next time. Right. Like, he didn't do that. He was like, you suck at your job and you're dumb and you don't believe hard enough, which, if you know me, that's not true. None of those are true. And it really bothered me. And instead of motivating me, it was like, well, now I don't want to work here. Now, like, you don't know me as a human being. Those are the wrong things to say to me. And now I don't want to work here. So I'm not gonna. Yeah.
I love your
And I
example.
was their highest paid sales person for average dollars spent, like, for the entire region. So like, he lost a good sales.
Good job, Diana.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to point out that you were a college student when that was the case, right? So that's saying a lot. You're like, you could have had a great CEO of Jewelry R Us, mall-based company.
I think it's defunct now. I don't think it survived.
But yeah, it's funny how you mentioned like his motivation is like, end of the day, I'm going to slap these people, whatever I need to do, their egos, their emotions, their ideas, their intentions. It doesn't really matter. I just need these sales. So I love even how your story, the pause of like, oh, I've never heard the fire alarm before. Oh, it doesn't matter. You just need to do better. That's all I need to do. My job is to make you as machine-like as possible. To get these things done. And it's funny, the opposite of that, especially when you're saying like, wouldn't, if you knew me, if you paid any attention at all, there's all these other things that would have helped. And one of my favorite, I've shared before, my favorite leadership acronym, Dr. Roy Lloyd, he is a psychologist. He used to work for this International Peace Institute that would literally meet with warring factions or countries or nations or groups, tribes, and like build peace through conversation with translators, all this stuff. And one of his acronyms was WAIT, which is the WAIT. Why am I talking? And a lot of time as a leader, I think when you're talking with people, or even your own manager could have used this advice. You're like ranting and raving about, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. If there's a problem and you're the one talking the most, but you're not the one who's going to fix the problem, or you're not the one that had the fire alarm pulled, that's a great time to think of, wait, what am I trying to do here? And if I'm trying to build buy-in and I'm trying to coach them or help them own it beyond just talking them into it, but actually believe it and run with it, yeah, that actually is a different thing. And so, wait, why am I talking? It's one of my favorite acronyms.
And now we're going to leave a massive pause because nobody wanted to jump in right after that. I'm just kidding. No, that was so good. I remember, I think you introduced me to that acronym a couple months ago, Philip, and I really like it. It is that good moment. I mean, as a human, but especially as a leader, to be like, wait, why am I about to jump in and add something? Am I about to repeat what somebody else has honestly already said? Do I really have anything else to contribute to this? Or can I support, where someone else has already taken this? Or, is this the right moment to bring this idea to the table or to talk about this thing? I think that one's wonderful. Yeah. What other ones do you all have?
I'm going to confess one that I used to say.
Ooh.
That I no longer agree with.
Oh, we're getting our mental caution tape ready. We're about to freak out.
You might a little bit. And I think I think a lot of leaders use this phrase before. So, but here it is. It's lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Yeah. Move.
That sounds like great advice. What's wrong with that? I don't know. I kind of like
Mhm.
that. Tell me, what's every household conversation, that is exactly how we talk. No,
Oh no, oh no.
what we say with our dog. We're about to go on a walk. Tosh, lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I mean, for your dog, that's more accurate.
Yeah. Mm.
But I've come to see that I don't like that phrase because it implies that you are either a leader or a follower or you're in the way, right? And I just don't think that there's way too much nuance to humans to believe that you fall in one of those three categories in any given moment. And so
Totally.
I don't love the implications that there's only three things you can do. You can lead and you're leading the way and you're leading the charge. You can follow and that means you're leading somebody else, or you can get out of the way and do neither. And I just don't, I think there's a lot of gray and a lot more stuff that people can do.
That's
And
literally that seems like that's just another way to express the, oh, hey, I hire great people and I get out of their way. That's the laissez-faire person saying that. Your version is the, I'm gonna get stuff done around here. You make up your mind, I'm gonna do it anyway, lead, follow, get out of the way. It's two sides of the same coin there.
yeah, yeah. So I did used to say it. I'm sorry for anyone that I said that to you in the past. I hope you were not offended. And I don't believe that anymore. I have grown as a leader.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that, Diana. Yeah, I agree. I've heard that one said a lot and in different ways too, where it'll even be said like, if you don't think you can do this or you want to be here, then just like go ahead and get out of the way now and, step off this project or find something else to do or da 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 da. Yeah, agree with that. One thing I was going to say, I hear leaders say that I like, and it's not like a specific quote or phrase, but it's just generally like this attitude of a leader who's willing to kind of like ask themselves and look at their team and kind of say like, what if we were wrong? And a leader who's willing to like honestly admit that like, hey, we all are really smart and we've probably done this for a while and have good experience, but like, what if we were wrong? How would we approach it differently? Or I heard somebody talk about it once of like, what's the third option? We often get really stuck in like, well, it's either you have to do it this way or that way. And they're like, well, what would be the third option? What if we couldn't do either one of those things? What would we do next? And so that's something I'll hear leaders say that I do really like, that I will say it has to be done well, because you can also just be like, well, what if, and then you accidentally blow everything up that your team's been working on. But just to say, like, there's usually a good moment in the range of creating something new or making a decision where you could say, like, hey, just to gut check ourselves. Yeah, what if we couldn't do it either one of these ways? What if both of those went off the table? Then what would we do? Or what if we were wrong about this and we're taking the wrong approach? Like, how would we know? How would we know that? And again, I think it's said in a way that is very humble and not assuming anyone is wrong. So don't say this if you know someone is taking the team down the wrong path. Don't go, well, what else would you do if you knew you were wrong? No, like the leaders who do this well, it's a genuine question of like, have we really thought through what else we could do and what other options are there, and not fall into that like this or that black and white, and let's not get stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I do like that. It sort of reminds me of something that my mentor used to always say. He used to say, "Is this a Kobayashi Maru?" Which was his like way of saying, "Is this a no-win situation?" Right? Like, is no one going to win from this? Or is it like an unwinnable thing? Right. And so I think there are just scenarios where you can't necessarily win, or the outcome isn't going to be what you want it to be. So where can you make the best of it? Right. What's the next solution? What's the next thing you can solve for? But yeah, I think it's that like, you can sometimes do everything right and still not win, and that's okay. And yeah, what if we are wrong, and what if we fall flat on our faces? It gives people the space to understand that failure is an option, and it is an option, and we're going to try not to, but if we do, we're going to dust ourselves off and we're going to figure it out.
I like that a lot. It's funny. Can you pronounce that again? Kobayashi Maru?
Okay, this is a really nerd reference. It's a reference to Star Trek. And Star Trek has this like unpassable test called the Kobayashi Maru. So yeah, you can't win it, but then it doesn't
Wow.
matter. I'm
Does
not gonna nerd into it.
someone wins it though? I have a feeling there's someone that wins it eventually. Is
I'm
that
not gonna ruin it for you. I don't
okay?
know. Maybe you have
We're
to go
gonna
watch TikTok.
I'll have to watch 30,000 hours to find the answer. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, there probably someone figures this out. I'm sure it's. I like the even if I can't pronounce it right every single time, I'll try. That idea, a little bit of it. I think my simple way to say that is also embracing the awkward a little. I think when we hear people talk about failure, it's a lot of leaders will talk about failure, but what they really mean is maybe the failure of not having everything put together before they start and not having the smoothest possible end result. And they don't say it that way, but that's why I'll just say, oh, yeah, like the bumps of the road or the frustrations, or maybe that's the things that would lead you to cuss and discuss a little bit. The
Yes,
awkwardness
yeah,
of it. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
love to have a hard conversation. I don't love to fail. The
yeah. Or
ashwagandha
even the like
kangaroo.
perfection is the enemy of done, right?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
yeah, like it's not gonna be perfect. There's bumps and you're gonna
That's,
fall and failure's
yeah.
okay and all of that. Like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
A friend of mine actually, he recently applied for an opportunity, this incredible opportunity, and he's getting it. So he is now like the top leader of this organization. And at a breakfast we had lately, he said, "You know what I did in these interviews?" He was like, "I walked in and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to get this or not." He said, "But I just kept thinking, you either have what you need or you don't. And so if you have it, just extemporaneously be you." That was his input to himself. This leadership position, you can't prepare for everything. If you did, then it's probably you're either the smartest person on the planet, or it's not a leadership role to just be so perfectly prepared each time. And there was one part in the interview process, people pulled him into the room and he thought, maybe I have it now. And he was sitting in a hallway for this group of leaders and he was like, wait, no, it was that moment. I'm in my suit. I realize I don't have this yet. This is the final interview. I'm now realizing. And so that's when he said it kicked into gear extemporaneously. Be you. It's either gonna do it and it's enough or not, and we'll figure it out. But that part of it, you don't have to have all the answers. Your role as a leader, use the expertise you have, but you have teams of people around you to do these things with you. So use management, use leadership, use influence. That is the way.
Yep. I
Is
love
that how
that.
that Star Trek episode goes? Is that what kicks into gear?
Something like that. No.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nerdy, but I think about it all the time. Is this a Kobayashi Maru?
Kobayashi Maru. I might name my first child Kobayashi.
Kobayashi Maru.
My second
That might be
child.
like a bad omen. I don't know. Like your kid can never win.
I do need to find, yeah, they're always right. That'd be a great lawyer name. The
It
law
would.
offices of
Like
Kobayashi and Maru. I would hire them. That'd be
I
it.
would definitely hire them. Yeah. So funny.
Any final thoughts about quotes, the things of leadership that seem so easy that maybe aren't?
Yeah. I think my final thought coming out of this is that there's a lot of sound bites in leadership, and there's lots of little things that you can pick up. You can read all of the inspirational quotes and you can hear all of these, like, I don't know, snippets and sound bites that come out of leadership books and leadership and people in leadership and the memes and all that stuff. But really, no one or two or even 10 quotes can summarize what you should and shouldn't do as a leader. And every situation and person is different, and everything that you're going to interact with is different. And there's no, there's a lot of ways you can do it wrong, and there's a lot of ways you can do it right. And so, as long as you are striving for the right, you're going to be okay.
Hmm. I like that. One thing I was thinking too, the more memorable things that we all like, whether that's Stephanie, Mary, you, I think the things that we really like actually came from real leaders that we know. Those were not the quotes that are typically on the billboards. Not that we put leadership on billboards, I guess the posters on the walls, or that we don't splatter on LinkedIn. And so that's a part of it too. I think if you find these nuggets of leadership wisdom, my takeaway, it's more likely to come from the real humans and leaders you know and interact with, whether that's the mentors, yourself. So maybe the homework could be you, the leaders listening. What is your leadership wisdom, either that you've received or that's easy to share with others, not to make it trite, but yeah, like express your leadership philosophy. What is that? Find that out.
Yeah. And we would love to hear from you. If you have other phrases and things that you hear that you're like, I love it, I don't love it.
Yes, that's right.
I want to hear from you. We want to hear.
We're here. We're listening.
You're listening. But
Diana is gone. She's getting things done. I'm listening.
Philip will always listen. Always.
I will usually listen, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to end this thing.
I don't either. We're going off the rails
We
here.
love you, people.
We love people.
People well.
Thank you for listening to the People Centric podcast. We are so grateful for you joining us every week. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Also, feel free to share on your social media with everyone that you know. It really does help us. If you would like to contact us, I have put our information in the show notes. Please reach out anytime. We love hearing from you. We will be back next week with a new topic. Until then, be well and